Are you having trouble catching bass from the summer to fall transition? Well, in this video, I'm going to give you 5 baits that are going to help you catch more bass this year in the summer to fall transition. So if you made it this far into the video, then you're probably struggling to catch fish from the summer to fall transition. I used to struggle with the same thing, catching fish through the summer to fall transition. The fish really spread out. Find fish in the back of the creeks, out on the main lake and brush piles. They really scatter, so it's hard to find solid numbers of fish anywhere. So you don't catch as many as you would in the summertime or in the fall, because they're really spread out and hard to locate. So in this video, I'm going to go over 5 baits that can help you guys catch more fish from the summer to fall transition. And don't forget, any of these baits that I talk about in the video, I'm going to link down in the description below, so you guys can pick them up for yourselves if you guys want to buy any of these baits. But for now, let's jump right into the video. First bait I want to talk about is going to be a topwater walking style bait. This specific bait's a Lucky Craft gunfish. Solid bait, definitely works. There's also several other people that make a same style walking bait. You could buy a Head and Spook, tried and true classic bait, silent versions, knocking versions. Flat out works, and we know it works because it's worked for years. Livingston also makes another great walking bait. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but I'll link it down in the description so you guys can pick it up. But that topwater walking bait really works. You can cover a lot of water with it, right? Cover banks through the pockets, get into the back of pockets where fish are pushing bait, and really capitalize on some of those active fish, especially in the morning time and the evening. But really, if you have any sort of wind or cloud cover, you can catch fish on this bait all day long, right? Just an awesome bait to catch fish on in the summer to fall transition. And you will catch some of your bigger fish on that bait also. Bait number 2 is going to be a Magnum trick worm. You can throw this thing on a shaky head. I have it rigged right now on a swing jig head. Texas rig works too, but this swing head really works everywhere. I can throw this in rock piles, brush piles. I can flip it if I need to. So that's really a good way to go if you only have one option to pick. But a Magnum trick worm's flat out going to work. I use this when I'm targeting some of those main lake fish or secondary fish that are on the points or out on brush piles, on rock piles, maybe even docks, things like that. And you can really catch some of those fish that are moving, especially if you can figure out where they're at. This is an awesome bait to catch them, and you can catch them on, or catch big ones on it also. And there's a lot of ways to rig it, right? Like I like to throw it on a Nico rig, catch really big fish throwing it on Nico rig. A very special way to throw it. Not a lot of people throwing it, I don't think, also. So that's one you should definitely look into. Help you catch more fish on a Magnum trick worm, especially this time of the year. I actually went out a couple weeks ago and just absolutely hammered them on a Magnum trick worm, fishing it on a Nico rig and a drop shot. And I'll link that video up above if you guys want to go through and watch that video and see kind of how we fished it. But this is an awesome way to catch fish in the summer to fall transition. It flat out works, and it catches big fish. So if you're fishing tournaments, things like that, this bait's definitely going to play for you. Third bait should be in every video all year long. That's a jig. Now this time of the year, I like to throw a finesse jig. I don't know why. It seems like the finesse jig works a lot better this time of year. But this is really going to cover me from deep water all the way shallow, right? I can go flip with this jig. I can fish laydowns. I can get out fish brush piles, docks, things like that. And some days they really get on that body type where they want something short and bulky. That's when the Magnum trick worm won't play. But you kind of have to go through and play and see which one's working better for your day or even your fishery. I would say, if you're fishing a lake that has a lot of bluegill, things like that, a lot of the time, this will work until the shad start moving back in the pockets. After that, it's real iffy, and you just have to play with it and see what's working the best. But a jig, natural colors, is an awesome bait to throw in the summer to fall transition, no doubt about it, and you will catch a lot of fish on it. Bait number 4 is probably one of the baits that will catch you the most fish through the summer to fall transition, and it has a tendency to catch big fish also. That's going to be a square bill crankbait. I like to throw smaller square bill crankbaits in this time of the year from the transition, or during the transition period. It seems like I get a bit more on it, and I still get the same kind of quality bites. So I like to stick with a 1.0, 1.5, even 2.0 size. this time of the year, because it seems like it gets that, you know, that many more bites. It's just a solid bait to throw this time of the year. I try to stray away from throwing, you know, 2.5, even, you know, all the way up to the 8.0 Strike King versions. But the 1.5 seems like a solid size. And there's a ton of companies that make this bait, right? You know, you got RC, you can go by. Livingston is a good brand. This is a CB 2.0 Livingston. Tons of brands, right? Just kind of go, you know, pick what works for you best. Find your confidence bait, because they're all going to work this time of the year. But I use this bait to go in pockets or main lake riprap, rocks, things like that, and just cover water. Find bait fish, go down the bank, cover water, hit any piece of isolated structure I can with it, and this bait will catch a ton of fish this time of the year, and you will luck into some big ones, I can guarantee you that much. But with the square bill, the bait is a very important thing this time of the year. You have to really find the bait fish and find where they're located and fish very near to them. I mean, throw through pods of them, just fish around them, because there's fish chasing them. Even if they're not the most active fish and they're just near them, you can catch those fish, and it's a very good bait to catch them on. And the last bait I want to talk about, and is one that is not talked about enough, I do not think, is going to be a 10-inch worm. You know, old 10-inch ribbon tail worm. You could throw a 12, but this time of the year, I really like to stick with the 10-inch version. And I pretty much only throw the Zumo Monster. It works. It flat out works. I've never had a time where I needed to switch brands, to switch over and throw anything besides the old Monster to catch fish. You know, several colors you could throw. You could go natural, throw green pumpkin, watermelon, something like that. But I really like to stick into that black and blue, you know, red bug, plum apple, things like that this time of the year, all the way from the summer. And this bait works everywhere. This covers the fish that you're going to be catching out in 15 foot of water in your brush piles, but you can also take this bait up and fish in 6 inches of water and catch those ultra shallow fish, the first fish that move back into the pockets, and throw this bait along laydowns, isolated cover, things like that, and you can really catch some fish that people aren't quite targeting yet for this time of the year. And you know, I'm going to say you can throw this on a shaky head out on rock piles and things like that, just like the Magnum trick worm. But I think this time of the year, this 10-inch worm really shines fishing brush piles and isolated cover. Just the best way. Not that it won't work, but it seems to me that the best ways to fish it are fishing it that way. But you know, everyone's got their own opinion. That's just mine. Make sure and test it out for yourself, because everything I say is not gospel, right? You could take these things and find something completely different that works on your body of water that doesn't work on mine. So you got to keep that in mind when you're testing all these baits and everything I talk about, because what I'm going to tell you is what I found, but it's not always true for your bodies of water. But if you want to buy any of these baits, I'm going to link them down in the description, so you can pick them up. But that's it. That's 5 baits that are going to help you catch more fish from the summer to fall transition. And you know, really go out and just fish cover water. You know, these fish are really spread out. It's a tough time of year, so don't get down on yourself when you're not catching a lot of fish this time of the year, because it's tough for everybody. I know it doesn't seem like it, and guys are coming in with big bags and tournaments and showing you pictures, but a lot of people are working, you know, all day to catch 5 fish, and they just caught the right ones. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to check out my other videos, and the links in the description to pick up those products if you want to buy any of them. And if you got any value out of this video, make sure and go subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you can see my videos right when they're posted. And I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.